Welcome to In Bed with Luxury. This is Charles Pennington, and you're listening to a pillow podcast of In Bed with Luxury. We'll tell you stories, and if you fall asleep, it's okay. If not, you get so much wiser. In any case, enjoy. So who is Adrian Zecha? If you are a traveler who loves luxury hotels, you might have heard of Adrian Zecha. Even if you don't recognize the name, chances are you've stayed in a hotel that he has had a hand in, which includes brands like the Regent, the Chedi, and Aman. Over 40 years, Adrian Zecha has founded a series of hotel management companies and developed over 100 luxury hotels in Asia, the Middle East, Europe, and the Americas. But who is he, and why had he been so successful in his life? Was he a born hotelier? Well, here's his remarkable story. Those who might have heard of him consider Adrian Zecha a hotelier all his life. It may be a surprise that it was only after leaving a career in journalism at the age of 40, he began as a hotelier in earnest. Before, he worked for Time magazine and then ran his own publishing company between the age of 20 to the age of 39. Nevertheless, after this turning point in his life, he became one of the most renowned hoteliers in the world, similar to Cesar Ritz and Conrad Hilton. Over half a century, Adrian Zecha, now in his 90s, has founded a series of hotel management companies and developed over 100 luxury hotels in Asia, the Middle East, Europe, and the Americas. Before we go into details, what does he think himself? Why he was so successful in his life? Well, says Zecha, it's not because I'm clever, it's because I have been very lucky. And I'm dead serious. Of course I work hard. You have to do that. But life is life, it's gritty, it doesn't look good all the time. I'm lucky that I get to do what I love and truly enjoy. And what is his philosophy when it comes to the luxury hotel business? Whatever you do, you can't say 100% of the guests will like it. We need just enough people to like it in order to make it viable. Fortunately, you see more and more people, especially in Southeast Asia, which means there are a lot of potential customers. Adrian Zecha was born to a well-to-do family of an interesting mixture of Czech Indonesian plantation owners in Indonesia, and he grew up during World War II under Japanese occupation. His family is of Peranakan Chinese and Bohemian roots. In 1956, when President Sukarno nationalized the country's private businesses, many Indonesians and also the members of Zecha's family fled to Singapore. Adrian's family moved to central Pennsylvania into the United States. Adrian earned a master's degree in science from Columbia University, but instead of entering medical school as his father had decreed, he returned to Indonesia to pursue a career in journalism. Working first for UPI, then as a stringer for the New York Times, and eventually for Time magazine. I would recommend a stint in journalism to anyone who has an active curious mind, he says. It's a great training for any field. It teaches you to be persuasive, you learn how to present the facts so that your story catches someone's attention. It also teaches you to listen, not just for what somebody is telling you, but for what he is not telling you. As he also learned, however, you will never know how people will react to something. You write about them. When the person was Indonesia's President Sukarno, who would later be named that country's president for life, the stakes were high. Sukarno was a demagogue and very popular with the people, says Adrian. He also was an uninhibited ladies' man, and so no one was surprised when, at one reception, an attractive young lady caught his eye. Sukarno said he wanted to have her, and he did, says Adrian. That was exactly what I wrote. I thought it was pretty funny, a harmless story. He learned otherwise when shortly thereafter the country's Minister of Information called him in and suggested he go on vacation. Where? Asked Adrian. Anywhere but here, replied the minister. Thus the brash young Adrian embarked for New York City, where in 1960 he founded a magazine called Asia. When the magazine faltered a year later, Rupert Murdoch was persuaded by Adrian to invest in the magazine, in what was his first Asian investment, by the way. In 1970, 10 years later, Adrian started a new travel and lifestyle magazine named Orientations, based in Hong Kong. With the advent of in-flight magazines, Orientations dropped its travel content and progressed over the years to become a publication focused on the arts of East Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, and the Himalayas. It is now the leading magazine in this field, and its contributors are renowned scholars and researchers from around the world. Adrian's publishing ventures ultimately expanded into the arts, travel, and business, but he sold his share of the company in 1972. He then, what would you do when you have just sold your company? He spent 2 years wintering in Courchevel in France and summering in Bali. Adrian then became a land broker for Marriott Hotels. Marriott wanted to start in Asia because of the lower labor cost, but they had never ventured outside the United States, so they came to me for local advice, he says. Marriott was smart enough to recognize that in Asia, it's not what you know, it is who you know. That's something most Americans have yet to learn. Once again, the unplanned intervened, this time in the form of the 1970s oil embargo, which led Marriott to postpone the projects. This experience led to Adrian joining with Robert Burns and Georg Raphael in 1972 to found Regent International Hotels, which was one of Asia's first luxury hotel groups. Regent Hotels was the first to introduce the 5-fixture bathroom and the pool villa resort concept, which have since become luxury hotel standards. It was also the first truly Asian-based global hospitality group in an industry that had previously been dominated by European and American brands. The Regent's trio built 12 hotels before Adrian sold his 30% stake for $30 million in 1986. He then went on to partner with Georg Raphael, again in the Raphael Hotel Group, which focused on the acquisition and management of luxury 5-star hotels and resorts in Europe and the US. The company was eventually sold to the Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group. Separately, Adrian also founded Beaufort Hotels with his friend Siegfried Beil. Beaufort Hotels owned luxury hotels in Brisbane, Darwin, Singapore, and Bangkok. Its property in Bangkok, the Sukhothai Bangkok, is notable for involving 2 Aman architects, Kerry Hill and Ed Tuttle, and would become the aesthetics groundwork for Adrian's future projects with GHM Hotels. Beaufort Hotels was sold to HKR International Limited for $330 million in 1990. In between times, Adrian was also involved in real estate speculation, forming an investment fund that, among other deals, bought Bangkok's Regent Hotel and London's Dorchester Hotel before eventually on selling them. But let's come to Aman. While in Phuket looking for a site upon which to build a holiday home for himself, Adrian was walking along Pansia Beach when he came across a coconut plantation which occupied a prime location. Pansia Beach, a crescent sweep of powdery sand with views of the limestone islands that appear to float atop the waters offshore, was just the right spot, except for one problem. There was no economical way to bring in water. But if he'd built a few vacation villas for friends, he could amortize the cost of water lines. Further, because his chums and business associates were unlikely to live there year-round, he could expand the concept by renting out their villas when they were away and by building guest pavilions for other travelers. As for the business model, it was simple mathematics. There are two ways of making money in any business, Zecha observes. Make something in vast quantities and charge very little for it, or make something in small quantities and charge a lot for it. Adrian Zecha and Anil Tadani spent mainly their own money, as no bank would lend for the project due to the small number of planned rooms, instead of the 500-room hotels they thought would be more practical. Designed by American architect Ed Tuttle, Amanpuri opened in January 1988 at a cost of $4 million with only 40 rooms. One extraordinary fact about Amanpuri is that not a single palm tree was cut down during the construction of the entire Amanpuri complex and the adjoining villas. This approach was truly visionary at a time when green initiatives and sustainability were not even part of the world's vocabulary. Ed Tuttle's passion for perfection made it a challenge to question his work. He even designed the cutlery, the waste paper, baskets, the stationery, staff uniforms, and all of the pots plus the artwork. The hotel also pioneered a service model where there is no front desk, no TV, no telephone. Each customer will have an exclusive butler reception, can check in privately in the room, and consume in the hotel without signing a bill. In order to establish high-quality service standards, Adrian Zecha even sent the hotel manager to study on the Emerald Coast of Sardinia, where Aga Khan IV founded Europe's most luxurious and private hotels. Amanpuri proved to be groundbreaking. The name Aman means peace in Sanskrit and would be the principle embodied by each subsequent revealed from Indonesia to Montenegro and Bhutan to Turks and Caicos. Its success, followed by that of Aman Hotel Bora Bora in French Polynesia and Amandari in Bali, confirmed to Adrian the viability of a chain of minimalist boutique resorts in remote, natural settings.
some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me in